Oh, okay. What's going on, world? It's your boy at Big Game James _36, and this is Big Games BS, part of Den Media Group, presented by MFTK Foundation. Am I messing with this screen? Accident? All right, let me stop touching the shit. Uh, yeah, on the road, live from a remote location in New Jersey. Good morning to everybody. I know we got lots of topics, lots of things to discuss. Trying to get in and out. Just get a good little hump day Wednesday. If you see a little person moving in the back, that's my son who decided that he didn't want to shift to the other part of the room, so he's just going to be in the camera every now and then. Flying up here is an experience. I learned a lot as a dad. You got to make sure you check and double check your kids' stuff. No matter how many times you tell them to pack, they're going to still forget something and leave something. I want to say shout out to some of the people who listen to the show, some of those in the FSU fan base who have also pitched in to help. Ben Richards, she made a beautiful program for my grandmother while I was up here. Shout out to Starbucks for being efficient and being up here and filling my cup all the way to the top. I didn't have to. I thought I was going to have to be rude and be very northern. Shout out to the cheesesteaks, the pork rolls, all of the other different things that you get when you're up here. You know, but yeah. So Wayne Johnson, no, I did not get his shoes. I wish it was a little colder, so it was a little cold. Matter of fact, I'm wearing my Crocs. I wore them to give me some coffee this morning, seeing as he decided to take my Crocs. But yeah, man. Other than that, I want you guys to click the like, make sure you share this. Tell somebody. We'll get into some good topics this morning. I know I haven't looked at what Jaden sent, but I know we're gonna have some good stuff. But with that, let's start our show off the same way we start our show off each and every day with a good word of prayer.
You already know what time it is, dog! Thank you, God, for another day! Thank you, God, for another day! Thank you, God! God is great! All the time! All the time! Nobody wanna thank you, God! Thank you, God!
Y'all heard that, man. What we got today, Jaden?
What's up, y'all? Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Big Games BS here on Wednesday, October 15th. This is your first time here at the show. It's called Big Games BS because we bring the good, the bad, and the BS of the sports world, and especially football, to your screens, eyes, and ears. First things first, we have our MFTK segment to discuss. We're going to talk about the MFTK Spartans showcase and then also take a blast from the past, looking at this newspaper article with a familiar face and some familiar faces. Then transition from MFTK to NCAA. We're going to talk about some FSU football, the upcoming matchup this Saturday against Stanford, and the depth chart for that game. We also have some more news revolving around Joe Bullard and FAMU. So we're going to get into that as well. And then we have some more news with some coaches as well. After that, we're going to move into the NFL section. Got some news with the Jaguars. And then, we have to discuss the doubleheader on Monday Night Football between the Bills and Falcons and the Bears and Commanders as well. And then we got some more head coaches to discuss as well, and some previews and some special players in our hearts. And then we will look at the stat leaders since week 6 has been completed. Finally, we'll talk about our big games BS section, where we bring the scope of the conversation outside the typical football world. You know, we love starting out with our BS or bussin' segment if you're a real fan of the show. But today it's not a food item, it's an appliance. We'll get back to that later on in the show. For any of my pop culture fans, we have some good and bad news. We have some RIPs to discuss in this world. But first things first, without further ado, let's get started. And James, talk to us about the MFTK Spartans Showcase that's happening on Sunday, November 9th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. So I'm just going to touch on this a little bit before James gets into his bag with this. So these are some middle school tryouts, 14U, 12U, and 10U. Like I previously mentioned, it is on Sunday, November 9th, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. But don't take it from me, James. Take it over and tell us about the showcase you are having.
Oh, yeah. So what it is the middle school showcase, part of the 2-part showcase. We'll have the high school December 20th, which is something that you guys are going to want to come to and be a fan of and come watch them. But with the middle school showcase, we're going to have some of the top middle school kids in the Jacksonville area and surrounding areas come out, take part, compete, and get invites to the teams. So we'll have as many teams as necessary as it takes. But the goal is to have at least one solid 14U, one solid 12U, and one solid 10U. There's like about 3 or 4 really, really good quarterbacks in this area. If we needed to have 2 14Us and 2 12Us, we would do that especially if we have the Cats. The goal of this team is like, and the reason why I worded it the way I worded it was there was some big, FBU had their tryouts. And there was a big hubbub about guys not making it and then people going into all these different things. And I just tell people straight up, man, let you focus on competing and winning and let everything else fall into place. A lot of people are just like, oh, you got to be hating on my child if my child doesn't make it. And that ain't got nothing to do with it. It just might mean your child wasn't that good that day. So we're trying to change the mind, just get people back to having elite mindsets. Everybody has this mindset like, if I don't make it, the world is over, or if I didn't do this, or if I don't like your opinion, you have to be a hater. Or if you have an opinion, you are a hater. And that's probably gonna be the theme of today's show. Like, if you're in my space, get the fuck out of my space if you don't know how to have a difference of opinion without going personal, without doing all these other different things. But it's because it's affecting the youths. So we're going to come in. We're going to change. This is going to be the future. They're going to get a variation of all the different things that our high school kids are going to get. There will be resiliency training available to those kids. There will be obviously like one guy, Rashad Knight, has offered for when we have our practices, if kids show up 30 minutes early, or I think it's 30 minutes before or after, he'll do some free training with them. So they'll get training. They'll get so their physicals will be good. Their mentals are going to be good. I want to know what the marks is looking like. We're going to talk to them about life, because when you get a chance to go on the road, you get a chance to talk to these young men about stuff and what's going on with them. And I want the best for them. This game of football has, I don't even know. You can be it. Please respect my. Hit me up in my DM. I don't even. You guys got to remember like your name. Put him up there, Miles. Like let me be the recruiting coordinator for the movement. Shit, come on. I got to know who you are though. I don't know what podcast that is or all the other stuff, but like you more than do it, or you can just tell me who you are in the comments, because it doesn't have your name. So sometimes I don't check that stuff, but like at the end of the day, like these kids are going to pay $25 for the tryout, $200 for the registration, and it's $50 for the warm up, for the uniform, and all of the other stuff. Oh, Martell, yeah. You good. Give me some of them kids from Brevard County, and it's done. bottom line is these young men are being influenced by people who are. I'm not saying they're malicious because we live in a capitalistic society. They're using the capitalistic constructs. But what I want to do is make sure we have guys who are not just capitalists, but are trying to do right by the kids. So for less than $300, they're gonna get more than that in gear. Um, but we're gonna make sure these kids are taken care of to the best of our responsibility. I mean, best of our abilities. And we're gonna do some fly trips and we're gonna do some cool stuff. So battles put their schedules out. We will do 2 battle tournaments, 2 pylon tournaments, and then what we're trying to get is the sevens and a whole bunch of other stuff. So, um, but yeah, so basically that's the gist of what we got.
So on Twitter, recently stumbled across Antonio Cromartie posting this throwback picture of the best of FSU football in 2004, and it has some familiar faces in this post. So, gonna blow it up for you guys. Talk about this right quick. So, you see our very own James on the far right in this picture, but let's read this subtitle right quick. So Florida State's was powered by Tallahassee High School stars in 04. From left, Lincoln's Pat Watkins, NFC's Ernie Sims, Lincoln's Antonio Cromartie, Leon's Wyatt Sexton, Lincoln's Thorpe, and Florida High's James Coleman in there flexing, man. You remember when this picture was taken, James? And man, what was your thoughts when you saw this recirculate back on the internet?
I had no idea this picture was taken. Do not remember doing this. But we took a lot of pictures. Again, I was pretty good. So, a lot of people try to take shots, but like don't let the gray fool you. There is no revisionist history here. There's videos, but I wasn't as good as some of those other guys. Like Cromartie, Pat, Crow, both Crows, Cromartie, Crofonzo, Pat, and Ernie were mutants. So like I don't even know why I was even like on the same field as them at sometimes. Um I I'm but I do remember the pic. And also my sons looked at us. So I sent somebody sent the picture to me and I don't even know where it came from. And I sent it to my sons. I was like, hey, man, this is a pretty cool picture. You recognize those people. They was like, yeah, that looks like Coach Sims and Mr. Crow and Coach Pat. One of the guys looks familiar. My baby was like, one of the guys looks familiar, but his stomach is flat. So I don't think that's you. And I'm like, damn, son. Like, thanks for way to make me feel good about myself. Way to have body positivity, my son. But and then a lot of people were like, why was I wearing number 9? That lets me know that was probably taken on a Thursday practice. Thursday practices are reserved for like you can switch. We would switch jerseys with different players. So I don't know whose jersey I switched with. Number 9 had to have been couldn't have been a green. Because you can see Wyatt's black and white picture is darker than all of ours, so that would be green. But I don't know whose jersey I switched with on that day. It was wearing number 9, so number 9 would have been Xavier Lee at the time, if I remember correctly. I know he changed his number to 1, but it was cool. There is a lot. I like seeing pictures that show me in a favorable light that I don't remember taking. Those are always the best. If you know who's your hold on, like I gotta figure out. Yeah, y'all be making these comments, man. I don't know some of you. I don't know who you guys are on the YouTube, so you gotta let me know. But I'm glad your guy bro is ready.
So from an old FSU football pick to some new FSU content, let's discuss the game that is going to happen this Saturday. And I know many of the fans will probably be fighting sleep because we are playing Stanford at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time since the game is going to be in California. So we got it right here. The climb continues with a late night conference matchup on the West Coast Saturday, 10:30 p.m. in Stanford, California. So, James, with this news, we have the depth chart for this game. So let's look at the depth chart and see your opinions and thoughts on some questions we have. So let me share this with you all right here. So this is the depth chart for the game against Stanford. QB staying the same. In the running back room, you got Roydell Williams and Gavin Sawchuk in that 1-2. Then Jalen Lucas and Usman Chroma also is that he is going to be listed at one position. Deuce is back. Score White is back as well, and Boggs is back Boggs is back from injury, so good to see him as well. And then James, on that defensive side of the ball, my first question I wanted to ask you is: you see the other twin, aka the Desir twins, is making his way up the depth chart. So a lot of people have had their opinions on James Williams. James, so what are your thoughts on the twin, the other twin, some might say, and James Williams in that 1-2 position, and who would you give the edge to in that scenario?
When all things are equal, go younger. If James Williams was brought in to be able to give you what you need, what was necessary to be able to run the defense in the manner in which Tony White wanted it to be ran, and it's been a mixed bag. He has not made any impact plays. The Twins have, so you got to go with the guy who's at least showing the desire to be able to make plays or the ability to be able to make plays, and you rotate guys in situations. Same thing with Amari. You got guys who've gotten sacks and guys who haven't. The key is you've got to create more pressure. It's no other way around it. Like they have not lived up to the billing. I'd argue in a vacuum, of course, but like there are times when the offense needed to score that they did not. I'd argue that the defense is really, really at this point not performing to the standard. There's no realm where you get that many points in that many yards and you lose a game. That should not happen, especially 3 weeks in a row. I'd say the Miami game, even the Miami game, like when you go back and you look at it, you allow multiple big plays that you could have changed if you would have just changed the scheme and coverage, or you would have been able to put pressure on the quarterback, but you weren't able to produce pressure with that front. You have to do something to change it. And so I'm completely fine with this. And it's aggravating because guys that I know we could have recruited are performing well at a high level at other places. I don't know. I doubt we talk about this, but did you watch some Tuesday night football last night, Jaden? Like the great battle between FIU and Western Kentucky. Can y'all hear me? Okay. The reason why I ask is because we did take one legacy recruit at DB this year, and AJ Cromartie. Sam McGrew's son got 2 interceptions last night. Florida High product, local kid. A kid that wouldn't have cost you anything to just give him, you got more spots. He has the size, he has the measurables. You just let him walk away. But he wasn't the only one. But I'm just saying some of this stuff, when you have a kid that is on the bubble, you're trying to establish the program and get some of the greats around, this is a good look. Oh, excuse me. But because I see people bringing up Lester. Lester just hasn't performed up to the billing. Maybe he hasn't gotten the opportunity to, but he definitely hasn't done it. But I'm just watching these guys consistently be out of position and not make plays. That irks me. I do not like guys being out of position.
We will keep you guys updated. And on Friday, we have a show. Definitely going to give our score predictions for this late night game. Just want to reiterate that for all of my people on the East Coast watching this in your Eastern time zone, this game is going to be starting at 10:30 p.m. since they go into Cali to play. So make sure to stay up, guys. And if you don't stay up to watch the game, make sure to check your socials on Sunday to see the final score for the FSU and Stanford game, an ACC matchup. So, James, we know since we've been covering some of his videos, Jordan Travis has started his own podcast, and he went viral for his thoughts on recruiting and the overall landscape of NIL in regards to specific school like Florida State. So I'm going to play this video for you guys, for you, James, to see if your opinion on Jordan Travis's take matches with a lot of the discourse online.
This is the part where it's going to piss people off, but recruiting is about buying players these days. It's like the NFL, because we would have Jeremiah Smith right now if we maybe had a little bit more money and could have gave him $10 million out of high school. And we can go on and on about all these different players that we could have if we had more money. We didn't have that much for all those type of guys. Travis Hunter got a lot of money to go somewhere else. I know he wanted to be with Deion. He got a lot of money to go somewhere else. It's the world of NIL. So we have to get over the recruiting stuff, because we talk about recruiting a lot. We talk about Coach Narvetta can't recruit. Recruiting is show me the money. Sorry, but it's reality.
I mean, I don't see where he's lying. Actually, it's not. It's not. He's not lying. He's telling the truth from as he knows it. Right. Florida State is not broke by any means. Florida State just has not done a great job, from what the perception is, of spending money where it's needed and being competitive in it. There's a big spillover and people having opinions about it, but the craziest part is I'm looking at people have emotional opinions when hold on. Where it's not just the spending. It's who is getting it and what they are putting it on. And apologize, like I'm actually getting some information as we're talking. Hold on. Like there's numerous examples of them going in at the same time with somebody and getting outbid. But that's also doesn't explain why you lost the Pitt, why you lost the UVA. Those guys don't have the same budget as you. That's a coaching and a cultural type of loss. But we're not necessarily trying to compete with Pitt and UVA. I don't think they care about winning a national championship there as much as they care about being in competition. And really the reason why you go to those schools is for the right reasons. I do believe that Jay Trav, I agree with Jay Trav more than I disagree with Jay Trav, if that makes sense. You could have had Jeremiah Smith. We did get outbid for Jeremiah Smith. I think Jeremiah Smith also didn't take as much money as he could have taken at the time. then we're going to see another situation, another scenario with that in a couple years, more than likely. And I'll let you make of that what you want. At the end of the day, Jeremiah Smith and guys like that are still trying to go to the NFL, which lets you know that the NFL money is still better than the NIL money. So that tells you that the money is good. It's nowhere near as good as what everybody else says it is. But the vitriol in all of it, because you're mad that this iteration of Florida State is losing to the Pitts of the world, they're losing to the UVAs of the world. That just shows you that there is a deeper thing in recruiting that I have been critical of that is far beyond money. I can tell you as a former Florida State football player, there is a lot of money in life to be made making plays at Florida State University. I can't tell you how Florida State exactly has helped me, but I can tell you that playing at Florida State did a lot for me. As my joke consistently is, nobody has eaten more off of one touchdown than I have. You go make plays in the big games, people will remember you forever for that short amount of time. But what I will say is that we do not do a great job of presenting it in paper. Y'all want some insight? I'll read this for you. I'll read this live. I'm not going to tell you who sent it, but this is a good personal friend of mine. And you can deduce and you can connect the dots. I personally know she doesn't care. She is successful in her own right. Her husband was successful in her own right. And they're a legacy player. So one of the things she did, like last time I had talked to her, she sent the official offer letter. Right, this is August 1st when I talked to her. They had already been there on a visit. They had committed, and I said, "We don't have any tackles. I'll kick in the NIL if necessary. I ain't got nothing but a $10 and a Guthrie's coupon though." And this is what her opinion is like. FSU definitely had the best official offer letter, better than Ohio State's. Yeah, most schools were basic. They overnighted to them and everything. I wish they had this energy a month ago. That was the last time, August 1st. Then she followed back up with me. I didn't even know they were there. I'm actually upset about this. We went to the Miami game. I love FSU, but recruiting is just not good enough. I hate this for us, but that is the truth. The only reason my son wanted to give them one last look. The portal is filling too many spots. They got to figure out how to get the right balance. A lot of kids actually have them in the top 5, but they focus so much on the portal guys that they miss out on a lot. They miss out on their high school guys. That is from the opinion of a high school parent who was heavily recruited, who is a legacy. And I agree. So you have that part. But also in the portal, I know that they wait on kids. So let me tell you how transferring really works. How it's worked in the past, and it still has this thing now. If you hit the portal with no plan, you hit the portal with no plan, that's how you stay in the portal. Most people who hit the transfer portal already have an idea of where they're going. They have an idea where they're going. Everybody, it's no secret that I'm affiliated heavily with high school recruiting. And I send kids, I help kids make the best decisions for their lives. And as my son gets older, I hope to be able to make those decisions. I actually hope my son gets an opportunity to go to Florida State. But there are kids who leave and go places against the better judgment and what sound logic has told them. There was a young man, this was back in April, who was unsure if he was going to hit. Well, he knew he was hitting the portal because he was mad homesick. Mad homesick. He asked me, because of my relationships, Coach, do you think if I hit the portal, I have an opportunity to go to a certain school? And I said, I'll ask a hypothetical. And I asked a hypothetical. What I will say is this: there's also leaks. Because there was only one school in this. There was only one school in this conversation that kid wanted to go to because he wanted to come back home. Now, I know who I called. There was a couple people I called. When I called, there was a school that's in conference that's doing really, really well right now with a coach that people want in a city that's dope, that started calling me too and calling everybody associated with that kid. So that means that there was a leak. That kid entered the portal based upon the advice that I gave him. Said school did not offer the kid. They did call the kid. They called him and said, "Hey, man, how you doing?" And anybody who knows how the portal works, when you hot, you don't play this with cool. My Ole Miss guy called me about the jit. I told him, "Don't worry about it. You're too far away." And it's good because that guy's at LSU now. The school and the school that's in conference in the state of Georgia, they called. They offered him immediately. 5 schools offered him immediately. That was the phone call, was to give an offer, not to temperature check. They waited. And then what happened was they decided to take a visit to said school in conference in the state of Georgia. It was not about money at that time. That young man just wanted to come home and be closer to his mama. If they matched the NIL that he got at the school that he left, he'd have been perfectly good on that. He was a long kid that could run. 10 400-meter guy. Played at the highest level competition. Actually got pissed. His coach got pissed at him, who's recently got fired, because he was going to be the starter this year for that school. Oh man! Once the kid set up the official visit to said school in our conference, now the phone is ringing. Now we're calling. Now we want to offer. Now they want to do these things. Now they want to do right. Please don't commit. Just give us a shot. Do this. Now we recruiting him and I'm gonna tell you what recruiting is. You can either be Drew Hill or Jodeci. Drew Hill, Jodeci, or Boyz II Men in recruiting. Before we get into that, because I know there's a lot of people who listen to me that might not understand that. You listen to Tim McGraw, and there's nothing wrong with that. I see how y'all got mad at Bad Bunny. Like, I don't know who Bad Bunny is, but I'm excited to learn. I mean, I know who Bad Bunny is. I'm excited to learn some of the songs, maybe. But hey, Boyz II Men songs are about the girl who left or always trying to get the girl back. Drew Hill is the one you got to watch. Drew Hill tells a girl, step 1, walk through that door. Step 2, tell him he's not like he was before. You don't love him anymore. Now 3, Come to me. Step 4, I love you more. You will see how love can be, but there's 4 steps to compete. That's the game. They're telling you, don't worry about them other dudes. Don't worry about the dude that you with. I'm where it's at. That's the Drew Hill. That's what the Georgia school did. What and right now, Jodeci is the you can love your Jodeci songs, but their songs, they're toxic. They're not doing right by the lady in any of the songs, but they just know that they got her by a string. So what I'm gonna say is with that, like Buddy goes to said school in our conference. So when you talk about money, right? This is money right here. They made sure that he didn't leave that school. They answered all like in the school that he wanted to go to can't say they did not have all of the answers, or excuse me, all of the questions so that they could answer all of them. They had the test. Homesick, don't care, just wants an opportunity to compete. Doesn't even care if you give him the job. He understands that he's still I think he's still a redshirt freshman. But when they the amount of money that they paid him was something that we could not compete. So what you can't tell me it's not an NIL problem when I can name you 5 instances where it is an NIL problem. And even if we have the money, we don't have it allocated to be able to do that. I'm gonna tell you another story. Now we had no ability, and I'll talk about this kid candidly. I love Carson Beck. See, this is how you work with people. Miami's NIL didn't necessarily give Carson Beck all of the money that he needed. They gave him a good amount of money, showed him what they wanted him to do and how he could perform for them, and allowed his people to go find the extra money to get him to come there. See, that's called thinking outside of the box. Understand, when people say we're behind in NIL, it's not just about fundraising. We're behind in every aspect of it. Like, we're trying to go and find this guy. Oh, we need you to write this check. We need you to do this. We need you to do this. Instead of, like, I've told him exactly how to get, I'll tell you exactly how to get B5. B5 is not a money thing. B5 is if you educate, and this is the craziest part, and if you educate somebody on how they can be better, because that's where it comes down how I started this. I know what Florida State has done for me. I can show you fiscally, physically, and emotionally what Florida State has done for me. I cannot show you, though, a blueprint. Like a physical, I can't hand you a blueprint. I can't hand it to you. I can show you through my life. I can show you through Brian McFadden's life. I can show you through Cromartie's life. I can show you through a lot of my people who have done phenomenal things outside of the game of football. I joke with people, but very few people know I was NIL before NIL existed. There's no reason you should know who a fullback is, like you know me, like you know me. Hell, I even go a step further. I won the JT Thomas Award for distinction, right, last year. I got presented to it at the Memphis game. We were losing. Another fullback and his brother got the same award, and they're dope people from Pompano, exit 36. One of them a little older than me, but I think they also went to school with my guy. Like, they got way more. Certain people get more pomp and circumstance than others, and I get it. When Travis Johnson asked me, James, why doesn't the Black Student Union do stuff with you? He's like, because if I got to pick, I'm gonna come to you. And I'm like, I can have all the players there at the BSU, but I gotta know. Like, I didn't know that the Black Student Union was having a tailgate until I had already set my tailgate up. But I tell you this much: I've learned that Cam Newton just talked about it on his 4th and 1. I can be clean cut. I can have all these other different things, but it does not matter. I'm going to be still looked at the same. It's all relative. I'm not finna go like heck. I wore a polo shirt. They're like, "Why didn't you wear a suit?" I wear a suit all the time, and it doesn't change. It doesn't change anything. Like they're gonna like you or they're not gonna like you. Somebody asked, Andre said, "Big Game, you can speak freely. Who's keeping you and Crow from coming in and fixing this shit?" I don't think that they. I think they actually genuinely do love me and Crow. I have no problem. I talk to D Ray all the time. Love D Ray. I talk to Ingram. Love Ingram. Like, hey, I passed along my hotel connections in the city, which was crazy to me. I'm like, y'all know I talk like the problem is if y'all was listening to the damn show consistently and not when you feel like I offended you, you would know I have these things and this stuff that I can do on a snap of dime. That's my city. Tallahassee's my city. I grew up in there. People know me for all the wrong reasons and all the right reasons. But like, and I told him $250,000. And I know that this is where the game is shifting. Y'all heard this from me last year. North Carolina and Texas and a couple other schools are actually doing this. Like you don't got to work. Like they got scouts now. They got that come to Austin, that come to not Riley, excuse me. Yeah, North Carolina isn't. UNC isn't. No, Chapel Hill, excuse me. That come to Austin, that come to Chapel Hill, when they got a report. They need them to recruit the region. So they're treating it like the NFL. But I told y'all this 2 years ago, $250,000, I'll get you everybody from in the Southeast that you want. You'll at least have a chance. $250,000, give me a budget, look the other way. I'll make sure that they get to Florida State. But what I won't do, and what I know Crow won't do, Crow wants to coach. And Crow's personality is so dominating. And you better know what you're talking about because he's going to challenge you. That's what made him a great player. That's what makes him who he is. He doesn't mean anything by it, right? But if you say something stupid, Crow going to tell you that's stupid. You got guys playing a game. It's no different, but it's just like 1010. 1010 XL where I used to be at. Now they're trying to get into the streaming. Me and Denny started streaming then the sports den, like damn near 8 years ago. We were telling you could tell somebody where the game is moving. They got to have faith to be able to move with you there, though. You can see it. I can only see it because I'm in the NFL. And you're paying players. That's the way you got to move. You can argue all day about what it was. This is how the game gets played. NFL has you have in your scouting, you have two different people. You have player personnel and you have the director of college scouting. The guys who typically get the GM roles are player personnel because you do have to know what the guys are doing as it relates to what you're trying to play and how you're trying to perform. Then you have college recruiting, which is a bigger platform, which you have area scouts, you have regional scouts, you have all kinds of different things. It helps you map out, look, and detect all of the different talent in the different places. That way you go and you build rapport, you build relationships, you do these different things. It costs a little bit of money, but it costs no more than paying a guy $65,000 to do this job that do a job that they would love to do, knowing that it gets them a foot in the door. You have a bunch of guys that want to coach, that want to get again. In what better way than to have a blueprint that's on paper, documented that you can hand to somebody to say, at worst, if it doesn't work for you at Florida State, or you don't get to the league. Man, we got these regional scouting jobs. We want you to go back home and spread the cheer and tell us who the best players are in your city. You can either adapt or die. And also really looking at Florida State, it's really not that far off. They have done a good job. Like the Desir twins, that's an example of great recruiting. You've got it's a bunch of like hell, not Djax. What's my guy's name that's with the Patriots now? Damn, I can't think of it. Josh Farmer. That's an example of great recruiting. It's and the jobs are typically giving based upon who the guys have access to. I think we will do better. I think they're trying. I think they're doing some good things that are outside of the box. But like you gotta play the game how it go. But it's not just like again. I have the same problem with FAMU. I had to go and almost like FAMU offered a kid that's locally that I believe is the best football player this year at Range High School. He did an interview last week. TJ Cole. I got to get TJ back on. TJ's a great young man. Okay, physically he can't play at Florida State. Maybe some of these other places. I give you that. You can't tell me he wouldn't be making FAMU a better program today. And the same thing with my running back that I just posted the other day. He's number 2 in rushing. The other guy who's beating him has 200 more attempts than what he has and less touchdowns. I tried to get him to go to FAMU, and my dear friend Devin told me we're trying to bring in guys that can help us win a national championship, win the Black College National Championship. But I'm like, dog, you don't have a bunch of guys better than him. And they're going to try to get him to transfer to a school like FAMU from out of Albany State. Like, y'all aren't – like, I get it. It's not everybody. But, like, sometimes you got to look at the guys who don't try to give you everybody they have, and they're very specific about who they send to you. Or they're very specific about how they talk. Y'all have heard me talk on this show. Again, like, there's a kid they called me about – they still haven't offered. Syracuse has offered them, and Syracuse understands buddy offers. Like they're gonna offer a couple other guys to maybe try to get that kid. I told them this kid is everything that y'all thought the other kid was that's going to Oklahoma. Like he actually is that. Like I ain't putting that stamp on people that I don't think are good. Andre said, basically, I don't really think anybody's doing anything malicious to stall the program as much as they need some fresh blood all around to be able to help change the mindset of where Florida State is at. One of the greatest things Florida State ever had was having Bobby Bowden and having the consistency. One of the greatest problems Florida State ever had was having Bobby Bowden and having the consistency. Like during that time, a lot of teams had a bunch of different coaches that came from different places that were able to pump different ideas and different blood into the program. And that's just where they're at right now. They just need some fresh ideas. They need fresh ideas and they need time. I'm not going to get into an argument of whether I believe this staff is or isn't it. Personally, I like Mike Norvell. I think Mike Norvell can do it. I think he's a loyal guy. I think he doesn't make the same mistake twice, but I think the problem is he makes too many new mistakes. So even if you don't make the same mistake twice, you're still making mistakes, and we got to clean it up. But I think that also comes from back office stuff. Because if you're an OG listener to the show, you know that I knew people in the Jimbo camp. And you also know I knew people in the tag camp. And one of the things that the transfer of power that happens when the DFO meets the new DFO, they said Florida State is a Lamborghini with a Honda Civic engine. That's what has to change. Some of the stuff on the interior has to change. You have to have the systems. Like, I know, like, I got Clint Purvis. That's my guy. Clint getting long in the tooth. And Jeff Cupper is amazing. Jeff Cupper is amazing at what he's doing. But Jeff is trying to do something that has never been done before with a transfer of, like, generations of Florida State guys that don't know how to get into the swing of things. Like, there should never be a situation where a player is speaking out on social media that he can't get tickets. That's my opinion. I don't have those problems. I also buy my own tickets. But I know I could go get a sideline pass. I know there shouldn't be as big of an issue of having sideline passes because most of the guys actually just chill, like on the sides, like or be right where you tell them to be at. Personally, fix that problem. Helping with Jeff Cup, hire Peter Ward. Everybody answers. Like, if Pete called me right now, y'all have seen it. Y'all know I'm answering the phone if Pete called me. Pete get everybody. Pete will get everybody back regardless of who, and get him incorporated in recruiting. Let him host your guy. And people say the party, man, college is a party. Everybody parties. Partying ain't got nothing to do. Like, the best game I ever played, I was hungover. So partying ain't got nothing to do with playing the game. The game is about fit. But anyways, we gone on too many tangents on that. But like, it's simple fixes. I believe that they will or they won't. One thing that I've learned to be is loyal to the logo. My coach is dead, unfortunately. One of the 2 times in life I've had, well, 3 times in life, I had the snot bubble cry. The first one was when I when I figured out I wasn't dying, and I was like how close I was to dying in 2021 when I was getting back to Tallahassee. Number 2, when I got the news right after that Bobby died. And then 3, when my grandmother died. Bobby Bowden is the grandfather that I never had. But Yanni, yes, Pete wants to be back. Pete is back all the time. Pete, that's, if you go look at, you see James Coleman on the sideline, you see Pete DeVore right next to him. But my coach died. I'm loyal to the logo, and I want to see them be successful, and I want to see whoever is the coach behind that. And I learned this from what's my guy's name? Used to be the Bull Gator of all Bull Gators, and I heard him say some wild shit on the phone when they were trying to get tagged to go to Florida. It's not Sonny. Damn it, I can't think of his name. It'll come to me too, and it's gonna make me mad. I'll be done with the show. But anyways, he said all he's gonna do, you'll never see him bitch publicly. He'll never show his but what he's gonna do is he'll go to the AD, say, hey, whatever you need to get this job done is done. And what's understood didn't have to be explained. And then he walked back, and he's gonna go get his hot dog, he's gonna eat his hot dog, and he's gonna enjoy the football game. And that's kind of the mentality that I have. What benefit is there for me to go out there and scream that we shouldn't lose to Virginia, we shouldn't lose to Pitt? No shit. Well, what are you going to do about it? What can you do about it? I know this, arguing with former players ain't really helping because they didn't make it lose. They didn't make it lose. I don't even know who. But like, anyways, long story short, hey, all I know is this. When you Google me, Getty Images pops up, and it says Florida State. I'll never be able to change my affiliations. And I talked again. So a lot of this stuff, like guys, I do talk to them about, and that's why I like them. Like with D-Ray, when we missed out on Tramel, while all of y'all were bashing Tramel, I was having genuine conversations with guys about, hey, here are the things that I heard from their camp. This is why we missed on them. They asked questions that I didn't know the answers to, but some of them we do those things. People just don't know, but it's a cool presentation from other schools. Oh, Jesse Fox, I'm guessing. I don't know what that means. He wasn't not sure how to take me, bro. I thought I was a good guy. I'm knowledgeable, but we gonna whoop that ass on October 30th, though. Shout out to St. Augustine. Y'all got my dog. Like, again, that is one thing that does stick across, because they got a kid. Like, put his comment up there, Miles, if you're back. The guy Jesse Fox put up there. I'm assuming the Jacket Pride is my dog. Y'all say no. They got a guy over there in Wingo, in Samarian Wingo, and we let go to Miami. I hope Brody whoop his ass, but I don't know if it's going to happen, because Wingo played for my 7-on-7, and he was whooping my dog ass. It's 7-on-7, but they both going to Miami, and it's just like I said, man, like, it's just shit. Like, it's some cats, man, that we just like that we miss. Like Jacob Curry. I think it's Jacob Curry, the linebacker from Nice that's going to Oklahoma now. Like, and somebody said, did we let him go? Yeah, we let him go. I will say that there is a guy over there that would take Wingo right now from St. Augustine High School. He will take him out of class and drive him to Tallahassee, who happens to have a son that we all really, really want. There are ends. I got video of Wingo doing superhero shit with the catches. But hey. Anyways, man, let's get on to something else. My bad. That went too long. This is not a Florida State podcast. All right. Just so happy we talk about Florida State. I don't know if we still got more Florida State shit to talk about, but what we going to next, Jaden?
No, that was it for the Florida State tip, but we have some news from another Tallahassee school, James. So we actually have this post right here I wanted to discuss with you. So first things first, the SWAC denies FAMU appeal to have Joe Bullard back for the homecoming game, and I want to hear your opinion on the Southwestern Athletic Conference denying the appeal for Joe Bullard and what this could potentially mean when it comes to the authority of sports organizations like the SWAC.
How does a conference suspend an announcer? I'm trying to wrap my mind around that. I don't get it. Like, why are you like, one, Joe didn't even say anything that wild. Like, I love Joe. Joe Bullard is is a good family friend. So people be like, of course you're gonna defend Joe. Like, it ain't got nothing to do with defending Joe or not defending Joe. I defend what's right. If Joe's wrong, I'll tell you that Joe's wrong. But when I found out you got to be 250 pounds to even qualify to be on that unit, I'm sorry. Them girls is proud of it. Hey, if you proud to be chunky and proud. Ain't nothing wrong being chunky and proud. Ain't nothing better in this world than a cute fat girl. But Like FAMU allowing somebody like what happens if FAMU says fuck it, Joe is doing it? What are they gonna do? Kick you out of the SWAC championships? Like y'all suck. Like Joe, but like again, FAMU, but this goes back to like they got my dog Angela jammed up as the AD. They put in this new president that all y'all hated up until you got offended that somebody might have called you fat. Which that again, we need to get we need to bring back shame and bullying. Make you see how real secure you really are. When I heard it, I was just thinking, I look at things Digital Underground. Yeah, I called you fat. Look at me, I'm skinny. That ain't stopping me from getting busy. But the conference suspending him and fining them for 10K is stupid. And if FAMU even like appeal the idea of I'm appealing, I'm asking you permission for a guy who is going to call halftime. You know what, Angelo? That's a good idea. I'll try to get him on Friday's show. I'll be on the road, but I do want to hear Joe Bullard. I'm gonna interview my OG. I will try to make that happen. Getting OG Joe Bullard, and we can just say whatever the fuck we want to say and just wild out. Because I'm gonna tell you, Joe Bullard, I think was A&R when Columbia Records signed Mariah Carey. So he was one of the guys instrumental in bringing her on board. Joe Bullard been big time and famous for a long time. I went to school with his daughter Janelle. Like this is again, you got to fam. I believe FAMU should. If we were better, we could swing put our nuts on the table. Sometimes you got to show them your dick is bigger than everybody else. But I would put him on the mic at homecoming and say, fuck it. Fuck it. If I'm Joe, let him come in and then just somebody bring in one of them little karaoke stands and just let him do whatever he wants to do. But Joe Bullard is an institution, and Joe Bullard is going to be Joe Bullard regardless.
On3 has released their midseason true freshman All-American team, and we have an FSU player who made the squad. So we wanted to shout them out in this midseason post right here. So let's get into it, guys. So, yes, Mandrell Desir did make the midseason true freshman All-American team, FSU. So shout out to him. But some notable players from the state of Florida are Vernell Brown III, wide receiver for the Gators. Then you have Malachi Tony. No surprise that he is on that list as well. And then on the other side of the ball, some people from a Florida school. You have Bryce Fitzgerald from the U in that defensive back position. But James, man, Usman can definitely be on this list if we pumped up the carries for this game. But
what do you should have put my boy on there. Makai is a redshirt freshman. Oh, true freshman. True freshman. My bad. You're right. Then that's a good list.
That's a solid list. A lot of the man. Every time I see Malachi's name, I just get scared, man. Did
I tell y'all the story about Malachi Tony and what I was told? Like we didn't want that. We didn't want Malachi Tony because he's 17. He's too young, and I guess the price. Again, we ain't getting beat at NIL, but the price was too high for us to get a 17-year-old, which is why we didn't go for him. And then to not cover him man to man. Let that bitch just eat on us, man.
Speaking of the price being too high, James, a lot of people have been trying to figure out who's the next coach going to be for the Penn State Lions. Penn State recently fired their coach, James Franklin. He had the second largest buyout in college football history, around $57 million. So, have some names for you just to see your opinion on the list of names, the list of potential coaches, and who you think is the front runner for this coach position at Penn State. So, you have these people courtesy of On3 and Pete Nakos. Matt Rule, the Nebraska head coach, Kurt Signetti of Indiana, Matt Campbell, Clark Leah, Eli Drinkwitz, and Manny Diaz. I also seen some people saying Marcus Freeman as well, and Shannon Dawson, the Miami offensive coordinator as well. So in your opinion, James, who out of these coaches, or if you have another coach on your mind, is at the top of the list for that new head coaching position in Penn State?
I would say Signetti. You gotta have you have to understand your regions, right? And I know a lot of Florida State fans are screaming Kurt Signetti, and it's cute. He is a very, very good coach. Brought a lot of guys from James Madison, where he was at, to Indiana, and then started recruiting the area. Does a very good job of recruiting. But he has more of a fit for the Midwest. And Penn State, while part of Pennsylvania, is a part of Happy Valley. They're basically the Midwest part. Pennsylvania's a big state. I would take him. I believe they're going to go after Marcus Freeman. I think Florida, if they fire their coach, they're going to go after Marcus Freeman as well. Manny Diaz has some obviously he was the defensive coordinator there not too long ago before he took the Duke job. He's done some good things at Duke. I don't think he'd be the guy you hire if you miss. Shannon Dawson has some ties up that way, I believe, but he's more of a down south. He's a Louisiana guy. Put that list back up. Eli Drinkwitz is an interesting one. That's an interesting one. So I think he's a good coach. But I would go with Signetti for Penn State out of all of the other schools.
A lot of people are agreeing with you, seeing that Signetti could be that new head coach for Penn State. But here at Den Media Group, we will definitely keep you guys updated with the process. Love keeping you guys updated. Love giving you the facts, not the fiction of college and of just sports in general. So appreciate y'all for staying tuned. And we're going to keep on talking about coaches, James, because this Oklahoma coach has been out of pocket. So Oklahoma head coach Brent Venables on playing tight games in the SEC. Quote, "This isn't the old Big 12 days where Oklahoma destroys everybody every single week except one game of the year." And James, you are in the wrong when the conference makes a tweet about you. The Big 12 conference's X account said Coach Venables lost 8 conference games in his last 2 seasons in the Big 12. Yikes, man. Yikes, conference. Putting you on blast for your statements. And what are your thoughts on the Oklahoma's head coach's statements regarding the Big 12 and the SEC?
I mean, he was a coordinator there before, though, right? Like, it's just not like, I understand what he was trying to say. I think he hot right now though, so just say, but it also goes back to what I tell people: the SEC isn't anywhere near as tough as they believe it is. Think about it like this: Big 12. The first time the SEC had expansion, they brought in Missouri and Texas A&M, right? Missouri went back-to-back years winning the SEC East. So going to the conference championship after they had been a bottom dweller in the Big 12. Texas A&M took on and defeated the big bad Alabama-led Nick Saban teams. So 2 teams that were middle tier. Hell, Texas A&M hasn't won a championship since before the last Great War. That's what they call World War II back then. Now, you go in and you expand again. You bring in Texas and Oklahoma. What has Texas done besides dominate the fucking SEC? Being in the college football playoff 2 years and winning the conference. Like, just being better than everybody else in the conference. You can't say you're the big dog when new people come in and will start whipping ass. So Oklahoma's doing better because they're still the new flavor. But the Big 12 conference had a right to have the retort that they had but at the same time, it's not that tough. It's tough because people like to brag about how tough it is.
Got some more posts to discuss with the NFL. So we're moving from college to the big leagues, starting with the home team like we normally do. That is the Jacksonville Jaguars. So for any of my Jaguars fans in this chat right here, Jaguars ruled out linebacker Devin Lloyd, calf, and tight end Quentin Morris groin for Sunday's game against Los Angeles in London. Neither player will travel to London, and it seems like Puka Nacua will probably not be playing this game as well. He had an injury last game, so it's unlikely he's going to play this game, but we go keep you updated on that tip. But, man, losing Devin Lloyd definitely is going to hurt our defense as well. But they don't have Puka. That's kind of a, I'm not going to say even trade-off, but, hey, man, at least Puka wouldn't be out there on the field without Devin Lloyd. But just wanted to keep you guys updated on that. This is courtesy of Adam Schefter. And we have some money moves news for you guys as well, according to SpotRack. So the Jaguars converted $8.8 million of cornerbacks Greg Newsome's salary into signing bonus, adding 4 void years, creating $7 million of cap space for 2025. Jax now heads toward the 11-4 trade deadline with around $12 million of room to work with. Then I also have this as well. Jags now have that $12 million in cap space. So moving Devon Hamilton plus $7 million and possibly Walker Little plus $4 million could push them near to $23-24 million, enough to chase a star defensive tackle, tight end, or left tackle as well. So, James, what I'm going to ask you is what key position should the Jaguars pick up for that trade deadline?
Well, right now it looks like I think you need another pass rusher, in particular in the interior. You got to have somebody that could be able to push the pocket with Arik Armstead, and especially with Trayvon. I always want to call him Trayvon Martin, but with Trayvon having only one hand, it makes he can still be effective at setting the edge, but he's just not as good as he is. You can't use all your moves without having 2 hands, and that would help Hines Allen, who is being one of the premier guys in leading for pressure, but a lot of people don't look at pressures as a stat because it's not a sack. So you got to be able to amp that up. Losing Devin Lloyd hurts. I don't know how long he'll be out for, but him and Foye were becoming a really good linebacker crew out there. And when we got But the secondary is really something. But I don't think you get a good DB right now. At this point, nobody's trading for one. Nobody's looking for that. You have to kind of make that better for what you already have. So that's all. That's kind of where I would go. If they can find an interior D tackle, that would be it.
Okay, yeah, definitely with that interior defensive pass rush. So like you said, a lot of people do not count pressures as a real stat. So looking to turn those pressures into sacks. And hopefully if we get that new interior defensive lineman, we can up the score even more, since Trayvon is playing with that club hand. So he's looking like the old Raider squad back in the day. They used to put pretty much the bats on their hands to play and club people upside the head. So he's looking like that right now. But we would definitely keep you guys updated on that. And in regards to the game, the Jaguars will be playing, and the Jaguars are facing the Rams in London. I might add, I didn't mention that at the beginning. So traveling across the pond to play in England. So definitely gonna be excited
Shit,
about.
actually, they need to go try to find a tackle, man, because Walker Little gonna have his hands tied, man, going up against former Noel Jared Verse, man. Ugh, that should be like a pit bull fighting a chihuahua.
It's definitely going to be something, man. Definitely going to be something. So, we're going to talk about the doubleheader that occurred on Monday Night Football between the Bills and Falcons and the Commanders versus the Bears. So, first things first, let's get into the Bills versus Falcons game. A lot of people were surprised at this outcome because the Falcons did defeat the Bills 14-24 in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in Atlanta. Many people were surprised at the score, but I didn't realize until after the game that Jeezy performed at the halftime show. So there was a little turn, had that energy at the beginning of the game, and started off strong. So don't take my word for it. Let's take a look at the some other stats before getting into the nitty-gritty of the box score and the team stats as well. So the Falcons defense were swarming the Buffalo Herd because they had 4 sacks, 2 interceptions, and the Bills are 2 of 9 on third down conversions, and they only allowed 14 points, like we previously mentioned as well. So according to Next Gen Stats, shout out to the AWS, Amazon Web Services, the Falcons blitzed Josh Allen on 56% of his dropbacks, the highest blitz rate he's seen in a game since the 2021 season. So it's been a little while since Josh Allen felt that pressure. And according to Mina Kimes, Atlanta finishes the game with a 44% pressure rate on Josh Allen. That's the highest. That's his highest, pressure rate of the season per Next Gen Stats, in the only game in which he's faced pressure more than 30% of the time. So Atlanta was applying that pressure in the trenches on Josh Allen. And we're going to get into the box score and the team stats right now. So the Falcons started off this game strong. They had a 21-7 lead at the half, and ultimately the Falcons scored only 3 points in the second half, while Buffalo scored 1 touchdown in the second half. But Josh Allen had a bit of a stinker this game, 15 of 26, 180, averaging 6.9 yards per completion, and he had 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions as well, and he got sacked 4 times, losing 23 yards. James Cook, 17 carries, 87 yards, and Josh Allen averaged 7 yards per carry with 6 carries for 42 yards. Joshua Palmer led the Buffalo Bills in receiving with 2 receptions for 60 yards. Keon Coleman had 3 receptions for 11 yards, and he had 6 targets. Keon Coleman actually led the Buffalo receiving core in targets, but Dawson Knox and Ray Davis scored the sole touchdowns in this game. So let's take a look at Atlanta's offense. Michael Penix, 20-32, 250 yards and 1 touchdown. He got sacked twice and lost 17 yards. And man, if I played fantasy, I would have picked this guy as my first overall pick because he snaps every time he steps on the football field. That's none other than Bijan Robinson, man. So he had 19 carries for 170 yards, averaging 8.9 yards a carry, and he had a tutty. Tyler Algier had a touchdown as well, 10 carries for 32 yards, and Drake London, man, USC wide receiver, had 10 receptions, 158 yards, and 1 touchdown, averaging 15.8 yards per reception as well. Shaq Thompson led the game in total tackles with 10. So let's take a look at the team stats as well. So the Atlanta offense had way more total yards than the Buffalo Bills, 443 compared to 291. That's around 152, I believe, more yards than the Buffalo Bills. So, definitely got beat on the offensive tip. And then you can see the passing right there, 157 compared to 233 as well. And what really killed the Buffalo Bills this game is that turnovers, man. 2 turnovers, 2 interceptions compared to the 0 turnovers for the Atlanta Falcons. And they both had their fair share of penalties. Buffalo had more as well. 8 penalties, 64 yards, and the Falcons had 6 for 35. And the time of possession was fairly close this game, despite the score being 10 points, being the spread of 10 points. Falcons had 3 more minutes of time possession compared to the Buffalo Bills. So now we are going to talk about Drake London, highlight this stud at the wide receiver position, James. You know, we have the Amazon route chart right here, courtesy of Next Gen Stats. So Drake London was targeted on nearly half of his routes against the Bills, hauling in 10 of 16 targets for 158 yards and a touchdown across 34 routes. London accounted for 74.3% of the team's air yards on the night and 40.1% this season, the 6th highest in the NFL. And you can see on this route chart, courtesy of Next Gen Stats, that the routes are denoted with the white line, touchdowns are denoted with the blue circle, and the green lines represent the yak, aka yards after the catch as well. So you can see that his touchdown was an in-breaking route that was around 10 yards, ultimately get him that tutty. But man, he balled out last night, and one of the premier receivers in the league with his measurables as well. I'm pretty sure he's like 6'4", 6'3", around there, long and strong. So definitely a dog out there on that football field. And we're going to talk about Bijan right quick because he had an 81-yard rush last night. And that is the longest rush of the 2025 season. So he comes in at number 1. So let's look at some people who are shortly behind him. David Montgomery coming in at 2, and then Travis Etienne is tied with Justice Hill and DeMarcado with 71 yards as well. So wanted to share this with you guys. And man, that Bijan rush was insane, man. Definitely a top running back in this league. But the Falcons, man, moved to 3-2 while the Buffalo Bills are 4-2. A lot of people have been saying, James, that Josh Allen typically has these stinker games he plays once or twice a year. And I guess he got this one out of the way in Atlanta. Probably went to Magic City that night and forgot all about it. So it's all right, Josh. You know, you'll get him next time. And man.
They're incredible.
Shout out to Lemon Pepper Lou. Shout out to Lemon Pepper Lou. So that was the game of the Monday night doubleheader. So let's take a look at the second game. So it was the Bears versus the Commanders in Washington, in the DMV. So let's take a look at the final score, and we're gonna take a look at the team stats as well, like we previously did for the last game. So the Bears ended up beating the Commanders by 1 point. Yes, you heard me, 1 point, 25-24 at Washington. Walk over your trap and take over your trap indeed. So let's get into some more posts regarding that. So the Bears entered week 6 with the 5th highest rate of 12 personnel. That is 1 running back and 2 tight ends this season. On Monday Night Football, they switched some things up. They used 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end on 53 of 59 plays, 89.8% per Next Gen Stats. So that's the highest rate in any game ever coached or coordinated by Ben Johnson, the head coach of the Bears, former OC of the Lions. So what does this mean? He's flipped the script on him, y'all. He was looking one way throughout the season, throughout his career, and switched the personnel on him. So he did his thing out there, and we have to shout out DeAndre Swift. So we're going to get back to DeAndre as well when we talk about the team stats. So let's continue to keep on highlighting some of the stats in this game as well. We're going to share this with you guys right quick. So the Bears gained a 56.6% increase in win probability across the Commanders' 3 costly turnovers. The fourth quarter fumble recovery improved the Bears' chances by 27.4%. That recovery, if you didn't watch the game, was because Jaden Daniels fumbled the ball off the handoff to his running back as well. And James, it looks like it's a revenge tour season for Jake Moody. Jake Moody was elevated from the practice squad, and he signed to the Bears practice squad in September. So, James, you might not remember Jake Moody from this angle, but you might remember him from this picture because this is the kicker that Debo once punched for missing a kick. Moody gets cut by the Niners. The Bears sign him to the practice squad, bump him up to the actual squad, and he hits the game winner against Debo and the Commanders. So, man, he definitely got his lick back. So, shout out to the kicker, even though you say kickers aren't really
Kickers aren't people. They aren't people, man.
You know who is a person though, man? DeAndre Swift. Man. So we're gonna get into his specific stats, but I just wanted to share this right quick. So he is one of two players in the NFL this season with 100 plus rushing yards and 60 plus receiving yards in a single game. So let's take a look at the box stats right quick. Caleb Williams was doing pretty good out there, man. I was impressed to see him go 17 of 29, 252 yards and a touchdown. He got sacked 3 times though. DeAndre Swift, 14 carries, 108 yards, averaging 7.7 on the ground. And DeAndre Swift also led the Bears in receiving. So he led the Bears in receiving and rushing. Get you a running back that can do both. He had 2 receptions for 67 yards and 1 touchdown. So DeAndre Swift had 175 total scrimmage yards in the game versus the Commanders. And let's take a look at the offense for the Commanders. Jaden Daniels, 19 of 26, 211 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, 17 carries, 61 yards as well. Jaden Daniels had 10 carries for 52 yards. So Chris Moore and Zach Ertz had receiving tutties for the Commanders, and along with Christian McCaffrey's bro, Luke McCaffrey. So Chris Moore led the Washington receiving corps with 46 yards. But the Commanders lost 2 fumbles, and that fourth quarter fumble was key for the shift in the game, as we told you, by the win probability shift with that as well. So we're going to look at these stats as well. Let's take a look at the team stats. So the Commanders actually had 3 more first downs than the Chicago Bears, but they both did really, really poor from that third down efficiency stat. 3 for 10 for the Bears and 3 for 8 for the Commanders as well. The Commanders ran 1 more total play than the Bears, and the Bears had more total yards compared to the Commanders with 52 more total yards as well. Bears had 31 more passing yards, and they also had 21 more rushing yards as well. And the Bears won despite, some might say, playing against the refs. They had 9 penalties for 84 yards, while the Commanders had 5 for 40. But like we mentioned, those turnovers were key for them Commanders. 3 turnovers, 2 fumbles lost, and 1 interception thrown. And James, the Bears won this game with getting less top. They got 28 minutes of top compared to the Commanders getting 31 minutes. So great game overall, but just want to take a look at the play-by-play to look at this fumble, man, by Jaden Daniels. So Jaden Daniels fumbled at the 3:10 mark in the fourth quarter. Washington was actually up 22-24 at this point in the game, and he fumbled at the Chicago 40. Chicago ultimately ended up getting into field goal range, sinking that field goal. But man, interesting game. Not gonna lie, this was the Heisman quarterback matchup, if you will. Both these quarterbacks won the Heisman in college, so it was a good game. And man, love to see these guys coming into their own. Love to see Caleb Williams coming into their own in the bright lights in prime time. And James, the Bears have won 3 straight games. So they're on a roll right now. So hopefully they can keep things up, even though they're in one of the harder divisions in football, being in NFC North. So were you content with Caleb Williams' performance under the bright lights in this Monday Night Football matchup, James?
I didn't watch much of that one. I was half watching because I needed Jaden Daniels to implode, which I knew wasn't going to happen. But it's interesting how the Commanders have become mid, and just this season in general is just wild when it comes to NFL. Like football, like in general, is just wild. The teams that you think should be really, really good are playing not just down to their competition, but like not well at all. So it kind of throws you off a little bit. But Caleb, it's there. You could definitely see the talent. It definitely need to take a step up in the right direction. But I definitely did not think that they were going to win that game though. Before it started. So I didn't have a dog in the fight though.
According to ESPN Bet, these were the betting props for the game. So the Chicago Bears actually had a 5.5 spread, and they were the underdogs in this game as well. The over-under for points was 48.5. And if you took the money line for the Bears per ESPN Bet, you had a plus 200 payout. So you doubled your money if you bet on the Bears to win the game, since they were the underdogs. So like you said, you were surprised that they won, and Vegas is surprised they won as well, since they had them as the underdogs. So shout out to Caleb Williams getting that dub in the Monday Night Football bright lights. And oh, by the way, James, he had on some pink nail polish for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So he's continuing to showcase his social causes on his hands. So I know you're a huge fan of that, so I just want to keep you updated whenever I see it on TV. So
I was wondering about that. Like, can we like, why do can we, like, is there another way to show, like, one, I think if you want to wear pink year round, right? And it's funny how if I say breast cancer awareness, nobody yells and says all cancers matter. But like I just think it's a way that people just really want to just show they just want to get festive, if you will. I guess is that the better way to say it? Get that fruitopia out of them. But and Caleb I think he could do a lot for people if he would just go ahead and just let us know where he stands, because I just can't see painting my fingernails, man. I don't understand why men do, why that's necessary. But if you win, you win. So hey.
Everybody in the league is saying free the guy, man, aka Brian Branch. So the reason why people are saying free Brian Branch is because he got into a post-game scuffle with Juju Smith-Schuster, and a lot of players in the NFL would have done the same thing if they had the opportunity to snub Juju. So he actually gave Juju a bloody mouth, and what it looked like was a little bit of a bloody nose after the game. So Brian Branch has been suspended without pay for one game for unsportsmanlike conduct following Sunday's game against the Kansas City Chiefs. I believe, James, you guessed that he would not have a game check for his suspension, and you were right. I think his game check, from what I saw online, was around that $70,000 price range. So he's losing out on 70 bans with one bloody mouth and punch. So man, your actions have those consequences. And I know no matter how rich you are, losing 70 bans for playing 60 minutes, for doing 60 minutes of work, that's the ultimate finesse right there. And he lost.
Wait a minute, hold up. He lost for that game, or they're suspending him for the next game?
I think it's for the next game. Yeah, it has been suspended without pay for one game. So yeah, I think it's the next game.
Like, to be honest with you, man, you could get somebody got for way less than that. Like, you could have took him out for $5,000. Like you might as well. I mean, when you're looking at the numbers, heck, Ray Caruth almost got away with it for $500. But they just if I hit you and that's going to cost me $70,000, I need to get my money's worth. Even though, excuse me, it's going to a good cause. So that's the dope part.
Yep, it's definitely going to a good cause. And man, sucks to see that he spent it without pay for one game. But man, hey, gotta deal with the punches, man. And even though many of the NFL players in the league, like I said, would definitely snuff Juju if they had the chance. But yep, that's what happens when you do that as well. And Branch was also fined $23,186 for face mask and unsportsmanlike conduct penalties against Green Bay last month. So he's raking up those fines. He's definitely blessing somebody in the NFL with his conduct, if you will.
That's what people don't understand about the NFL and even NIL. Like they're finding guys, they fine you for everything, dude. Like so. Like it goes back to the Chad Johnson where he used to put $10,000 away. I don't know if it was per game or what it was, but like he knew he wasn't going to wear his socks the way they wanted him to wear it. And like they find like there's a guy, typically a former player, that is looking at everybody's how you dress for the game. And like they are just, but like 70,000, I'm going to fuck you up something good. Like that's an MMA purse. Like a good one at that. You know those guys don't get paid anything.
Didn't Von Miller get fined for partying a bunch?
Yeah, that was a team fine in the meeting room. Yep.
So I have some more information on Branch. So according to sportingnews.com, Branch has been fine career. So, man, yeah, he's only played, I think, 3 seasons in the league too. So he's getting fined $33,000 a season if you average it out. So, man, that is tough. That is tough.
Yeah.
My bad. My screen just froze. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So we're going to be transitioning. I'm just waiting on my computer to unfreeze right quick. But James, we have some news to discuss with a AFC South rival because the Tennessee Titans have fired their head coach, and I feel so sorry for the quarterbacks who were selected number 1 overall. We're going to get into that in a little bit, but yes, Tennessee has parted ways with their head coach, Brian Callahan. So he was 4-19 during his time in Tennessee. And I mentioned the number 1 quarterbacks because according to Adam Schefter, the last 4 QBs taken number 1 overall have seen their head coach fired during their rookie campaign. 2021 with Jacksonville's own Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer. 2023, Bryce Young and Frank Reich. 2024, Caleb Williams and Matt Eberflus. And last but not least, Cam Ward, as you see on the left, and Brian Callahan. James, it looks like, man, you're taking number 1 overall, but you got to go through the worst of the worst. Your head coach fired during your rookie season. I know that has to disrupt the quarterback in some capacity, even though they might not say it in the media. This definitely has some effect with the QBs and especially in the locker room. So what are your thoughts on the NFL coaches firing their coaches in the middle of the season? Because I know what your thoughts are on with coaches getting fired for college. So I wonder if you have the same sentiments for the NFL.
Well, NFL is not for long, and you have to. And also, the difference between NFL is that there is a very restricted employee pool. So, like everybody in the NFL, regardless of if you think they suck or not, are like they were asked to be in the NFL. They were requested to be in the NFL, or chosen to be by. And so, there's only like I think right under 2,000 jobs available every year. So, like, you're going to get the guys who belong. Now, what stinks is, and I believe it was being talked about by Cam Newton, and they were going, you don't want to, being drafted first overall is an ego thing. Because typically the teams in the top 10 in general aren't good teams. So they're bringing you in because they really, really need you. So you add that to the fact that if a coach was there his first year and he drafted you number 1 overall, he's already in a deficit. The only time I would want to be drafted number 1 overall, and even that, and again, recently doesn't bode well for you, is if I have a rookie head coach or a new head coach, and because that head coach is choosing me, and we're locked in step, and I probably will get roughly 3 to 4 years to be able to try to at least earn my spot here. So Cam Ward is put in a bad spot, because while he's dynamic, he isn't the greatest, right? He isn't transferable to every NFL team. Every NFL coach is going to like this. So it kind of reminds me of Josh Rosen in Arizona. Remember, Josh Rosen was drafted by a specific guy. That guy, the black guy, I can't think of his name. He gets fired, and then they bring in Kyler Murray, and because they brought in what's his name? My guy who was at Texas Tech, got fired from Texas Tech to become the OC at USC, to become the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, like failing forward. As one of my homegirls says, he failed like a rich white man. But it stinks and puts you in a bad spot, but that's why you get paid a lot of money. Was that Steve Wilkes that did that in Arizona? Steve Wilkes, shit, the Panthers ain't been the same since they didn't hire Steve Wilkes, who was winning for him. So it might be. I just don't remember.
The last 3 coaches for the Cardinals are the current coach, Jonathan Gannon. Then you had Cliff Kingsbury, then Steve Wilkes, and Bruce Arians. So seems like it was Steve Wilkes you were referring to. Shout out to Ye for putting that in the chat, though. So shout out to you, Ye. So James, I'm sorry for laughing, but we got to talk about this Thursday night preview between the geriatric old heads, man, because, man, this is a stinker of a game, but should be a blowout for the Steelers since they are playing the Bengals in this AFC North matchup. But there is going to be a matchup between the Pittsburgh Steelers and Cincinnati Bengals Thursday night on Prime, and Fox Sports had to be so petty because they put this graphic. The combined age of Rodgers and Flacco is 81 years old. So, man, they got the old.
So I'm not gonna laugh at that because that's not funny. Because that's like I'm 41 now. So like you can add somebody else. Like you can add somebody else, but you know what? I'm also not putting on shoulder pads and a helmet and out there running around when it's getting cold outside. Like that is 40 in the NFL is like 60 in real life. Like at a real job. Like these guys, like it's time to hang it up. Joe Flacco, I don't think Cincinnati got any better, if I'm being honest, with Joe Flacco. And I've never watched The Walking Dead. I just seen the clips, but I can't get the guy from The Walking Dead out of my head when I see Aaron Rodgers. The guy with the bat with the barbed wire around it.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But and just Aaron's just really weird. Like you know, it's like why I don't like the information age. We learn too much about. Like if I knew less about Aaron Rodgers, I would like him more. But the fact that I know a lot about him because he kept talking and doing podcasts made me. I didn't want to know that shit. But he's also a guy that gets a lot of hype I'm trying to figure out an equivalent of who Aaron Rodgers is. He has all like they talked about. He's one of the most talented quarterbacks to ever have come through the National Football League, but he has one Super Bowl early in his career, and it just he just keeps getting employed. He is literally, if he would have went to the the Vikings, he's literally following the career path of the guy that he hated, and that's Brett Favre. The only thing we need to know is, do we know if there's any? Well, I don't want to know. Actually, I don't want to know if there's any dick pics of Aaron Rodgers out there because I don't need to know that. But that's the only thing. Like, he's literally, if he steals money from kids in Mississippi, then he is literally Brett Favre.
Yes, I just wanted to clarify that Aaron Rodgers is 41 and Flacco is 40, which produces that combined age of 81. That man, that's
And Joe Flacco came out. See, this is why I hate my mom. My mom made me
dang.
go to school early, dog. I went to college at 17. Joe Flacco is like the same age as me. Aaron Rodgers, Joe Flacco was like 3-4 years behind me, I think. That means this man was this is why you got to hold your kids back if you're trying to make them a sports stud. It's not fair. It's not fair. I could still be in the NFL being old and shit.
The 40-year-old fullback, huh?
Yep, that man, imagine the movie. Not the 40-year-old virgin, the 40-year-old fullback.
Oh,
I'll be out
man.
there like Scatterboo.
Captain CTE. That's good.
Yo, that's what we. So I know you're too young, Jaden, but you got blessed with the new age cartoons that aren't anywhere near as good as the old ones. They talk about how they subliminally tried to manipulate kids. Then they didn't subliminally try to do shit to us. They bliminally shit to like everything. Like, I don't even know where Eat at Joe's came from, but like that was ingrained in so many cartoons that I know I can recognize it. Bugs Bunny was kissing people. Bugs Bunny was doing all kinds of shit. Like, it was violence in cartoons. There was racism in cartoons. It was all good, right? But there was a cartoon, Captain Caveman. And he screamed, Captain Caveman. Imagine them doing Captain CTE with that theme with Scatterboo. Like, wouldn't that just fit? Like, Captain Caveman was just like a little, like, yeah, put one of it. It doesn't matter. You can just pick one. Like, imagine that guy right there. Like, one of the ones where he's screaming, though, like, where he's opened his mouth, and you got, like, New York Giants colors on behind it. Like, his shoulder pads, like, right there. You can't tell me that that's not Cam Scatterboo. It will work. Somebody put Ren and Stimpy. Yeah, bro, Ren and Stimpy was wild. Don't Whiz on the electric fence. I still don't understand why that was in there. They also had the scene where he was cutting wood or whatever on. Anyways, it was some wild shit in there. In there, man. Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings were interesting. But yeah, Captain CTE would definitely be that.
So speaking of this matchup on Thursday, Coach Mike Tomlin of the Steelers had this remark to say in regards to Cleveland trading Joe Flacco to the Bengals. Quote, Andrew Berry, the GM of the Browns, must be a lot smarter than me or us because it doesn't make sense to me to trade a QB you think enough of to make your opening day starter to a division opponent that's hurting in that area. But that's just my personal feeling. So, James, what are your thoughts on Coach Tomlin's sentiments and statement he made about Andrew Berry, and more importantly, about the Browns organization?
I mean, he made sense. It makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Like either you don't know how to evaluate talent or you're trying to sabotage somebody. And I think both are stupid for making that. But
Yes, and I just wanted to clarify for anybody who's not familiar with the divisions in football, the Steelers, the Bengals, the Ravens, and the Cleveland Browns are all in the same division, the AFC North. Just wanted to clarify that for anybody who had some confusion with that as well. And that's been circulating a lot. The video had 7.2 million views, so a lot of people agreed with Tomlin's sentiments. Many people don't really disagree with Tomlin. And James, your favorite son is back making content that's been going viral, aka Shiloh Sanders. So Shiloh Sanders pulled up to the Steelers versus Browns game just to see his brother not get any bump on the field. And Shiloh had to make fun of Shador for that as well. So man, he's a great brother, man. I could
love
just
Shiloh.
from these videos, man, he's just a solid dude, real solid dude. You can tell. So we actually got the video right here of him trolling his brother Shador. So we're gonna play a little bit of it and get your reaction.
There's a new Shador in town, and it ain't you. All right, get up out of here. Where you get that chain from? It's my chain. Where you get your chain from? You have me and your mama staying till the end of the game because we thought they was gonna put you in today. From a guy that was on the sideline before, I liked your movement. I liked how you didn't sit down too long. You got up when you needed to get up. You was ready. At the end of the game, we thought you was gonna get in.
I did too. That's why I was warming up. I was being in the stands. His first game in the stands.
Buddy, I'm never going to a football game ever again in my life. I'll go to another one of your games, bro. I need to wear this in Cleveland, though.
Oh, yeah.
But you know how people always call, like, you, me, and me, you?
Yeah.
When I'm in regular clothes, they be like, oh, Shador. But now I actually dress like you, and everybody's like, Shiloh, Shiloh.
When he got out of the car with that, you guys look alike with that.
For real?
Now I see it.
I did not give him that. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Bro, where Coach Stefanski at, bro? I'm trying to get on the team.
Hey, you know I'm going to show love. I be trying to tell the people, hey, I got a safety for you. He about
I'm saying,
6
bro.
foot,
Yeah, bro. About 6 foot 200. Let's get it, bro.
ready to roll. Hey, but you know I'll get you right.
Hey, I believe it, bro. Hey, but you did good today, bro. You was like 3 thoughts away from getting in. Right. Or am I tripping? You was about to get in today.
I really was. It was close.
That's what I'm
I thought it was
saying.
close.
They was edging you today. Did you feel my aura at the game today?
I was trying to look for you. Where was y'all at?
And I felt like I was on Spirit, bro. In them chairs, bro.
All you got to do is just come to a home game, and I'll give you a box.
Not a box.
Not just, man, I ain't got no box.
But it's not fun. It's fun in the stadium. I get a picture.
Shut up.
Bro, hold on, bro. I came all the way out here, bro. Let me get mine first.
I need to get mine with you guys. I get a picture.
I'm Shador, bro. You got on the Steelers jersey, bro. I gotta go first, bro. When you was like about to go on the field, your mom over here cleaned her glasses off for 30 seconds. I'm like, do you see this nigga about to go on the field? He about to play. Where are you from, bro?
Peters.
All right, we're about to ask you some questions. You want to be in it?
Sure.
All right. You got 3 questions to ask Shador. It could be anything you want.
Do you think you should be starting?
All right, bro. You just want to cause controversy, I see.
Hey man, Shiloh's a treasure, man. Like, how can you not like Dion? How can you not love him like you love Shiloh? Hey, did you see? Do you have the clip of what Shiloh asked his mom if it took to get his son playing, get her son playing? Do you have that?
I don't have the clip, but I could try and find it right quick because I did watch it. I did not add it, but I will try and find it. If I can't find it, I will paraphrase it as best as I can, but I'm pretty sure I'll be able.
So Gingerverse, I'm going to answer your question.
Oh, I got the video. You got the video.
All right, before we get to that, actually, no, play the video first, and then I'm going to answer your question, Gingerverse. It as real as possible. And it comes back to a video that we shared earlier in the year, but like this is, boy, when I tell you that there is some disdain in there, Like she does not. Like I thought. Remember how Dion ran the 4-2 to get away from her on senior night? Like this right here lets me know that feeling is mutual.
In case I get in, like, all right. So how about this? All right. What if Coach Stefanski said, if you and Dad sit next to each other for the whole game, then Shador can start? Would you do it or no?
Honey, you'll never get in.
Oh my gosh. Now we gotta ask Dad. My brother, how you doing?
Damn.
That's hilarious.
Man, listen, dog. You know, I know what Kevin Samuels and I know what a lot of these red pill people say about women, and statistically, there are stats to back what they say. Pilar Sanders fought it in the motherfucker though. She fought it in the motherfucker though. Like she gonna always her and it like. But I'll say this, man. Dion might be the GOAT for a bunch of other reasons than just he's one of the greatest corners to ever play. Have we like Dion is so one of the things I like to tell men, you know, when they get into situations like no, once you lock in, you locked in, dog. The rent is too damn high these days, bro. Like the shit is expensive, dog. Like it's hard to be single out here these days. So if you get married, you're locked in, especially if y'all cohabitating and you're paying bills together. Like, dog, it don't make no sense. The streets ain't for everybody. Get your grades up. But if you get one bad bitch, you know what you can do, Jaden? If you got one, you know what you can do again? You have shown that you can get another one. And if you don't have followed Deion Sanders' advice for anything else, Dion is living proof that if you get one, you can keep getting, you can get more. Because he has a now Carucci is bad, but I mean Carucci's just I think Carucci's trying to find a place for her, you know, to make sure she's taken care of as inflation continues to grow. But he had babyface wife. Like he had Tracy Edmonds in Mississippi. Like that's wild. He was doing podcasts about her and trying to tell people like this is how you got to treat women and blah blah blah. But he definitely had some work. But that was wild that that she said that. She's just like that yeah, Lana Cruz. Ain't nothing wrong with looking for. I think one of the next phases of Den Media Group is you know, I do want to have one of them show. I don't want to have Nightcap because all they do, this is how I started to believe some of them dudes like they like some wild stuff. But I think we need to have real topics and real discussions. Because yeah, Carucci's definitely looking for a roster spot. She just wants to make sure she doesn't get cut. But you know, it's worse if you're gonna cry. It's easier to cry in a mansion or in a Lamborghini than it is to cry in a shack. So she's just making sure she's good. But you know, it's wild off in these streets, man. But she's definitely not a bad looker, man. James, have you ever thought of doing a panel show with other fan bases, like with the Hurricanes fan, Georgia fan, Gator fan? I have. I also don't like replicating what other people have done. I'll say this: the Big Three roll-up was a really, really good concept and a good show. For those who don't know, it was originally with Josh Newberg, Auntie Lennon, and a drunk Miami fan. I can't remember his name. I think it was Kev or something like that, but I know he was a drunk. They merged it. They redid it, and my little brother CJ went on it. It was the FSU fan. Auntie Lennon stayed, and then they brought in damn, I forgot his name. Good dude though, Miami Hurricane fan. And it was never the same. And then he tried to go get former players. And the problem when people are discussing ball is that they don't know how to talk. And we get to trolling, and I think we could troll and we could do things in jest, but like the reality is just keep it 100. and just like let's have fun. Like I could do it with former players. I've thought about it, but they had a really, really good thing. But again, so people can't call me a hater. I can appreciate anything. I just don't fuck with you. I think Auntie Lennon is a fuckboy. I mean that with all my heart and sincerity. But he did have a good thing with that podcast. That was really it was entertaining, and it was something that was good. Now I don't know what they're doing, but they throw a lot of shots at people, and and I don't like when people don't keep the same energy with me, because when I met him, he was one of the nicest people I've ever met. But he talks so tough. Like you go to do so many things and you sue for peace the first time you see me. And then when you don't see me no more, then you want to get back to talking. You talk when it's safe. And that you don't have to be like that around me. Like if you cool, you can have your opinion, we cool. But like, you know, like but then again, like I tell people, it is a lot of steps to get to the top of Lot 19. And everybody talks violently until you realize you a petite male, and it ain't gonna end well for you. Because if I don't like you, I don't like you. It ain't no pretend not like.
And I'll get it on camera too, so that'll be the worst part for that. We'll get you on 4K.
You'll walk up. It's gonna take you a long time to walk up, but you'll get down very fast.
World star. Man. Whew, let's take a look at the NFL stat leaders after week 6, shall we? So I'm going to share this screen with you guys, courtesy of ESPN. So Matthew Stafford is leading the QBs in yards with 1,684. James, Drake May and the Patriots, man, they're technically number 1 in the AFC South with the Buffalo Bills loss. So it looks like
wow.
Yeah, I know, man.
We buried the lead, dog. We ain't talk about this shit. Pop shot us. Demario Douglas. You know where he went to school?
Mandarin U.
And I got him on my fantasy football team, but I didn't play him though. He's a bitch.
Damn.
But shout out to Pop. I didn't like Drake May, but if Drake May is feeding Pop, and we got Terrell Jennings as a running back, so we have 2 guys from the same team at Mandarin that played for the New England Patriots. So if you needed a reason to root for the Patriots, or you don't have an NFL team, like right now, I got to go get some New England Patriots gear because they got 2 of our guys.
Shout out to Mandarin U and shout out to the Patriots as well. Jordan Brooks is continuing to lead the league in total tackles with 66, but the veteran Bobby Wagner right on his tail with 65. Man, watching that Monday night game, he's continuing to produce at a high level. Definitely one of the best linebackers of my generation, man. I was a Seahawks fan, so growing up watching him in the Seahawks uniform, then transition now to where he's at to doing his thing in Washington, almost leading the leagues in tackles is insane. So shout out to Bobby Wagner, a true OG of that linebacker position. Jonathan Taylor, James, in my opinion, the number 1 running back this year, has 603 rushing yards, leading the league, and it looks like Travis Etienne isn't in that top 5 anymore. Nick Bonito leading the league in sacks still with 8. And James, Brian Burns, the NIL is 3rd on this list with 7 sacks. So shout out to the NIL, aka Spider-Man. Sucks to see JSN at the top of this list, man. But with his game against the Jaguars, man, it's no surprise that he's number 1, almost having 700 yards. He's close to averaging, I think, 100 yards a game this season so far. So, man, he's been on a tear. Puka Nacua is in 2nd place. George Pickens and the rookie, Emeka, is number 4. And Jay Chase, a.k.a. Jamar Chase, is number 5. And Devin Lloyd still leads the league in interceptions. He is our linebacker for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He has 4 interceptions as well. So shout out to Devin Lloyd. And if you missed the earlier segment of the show, he is not going to be playing against the Rams in England this weekend. So I wanted to give you guys an update and just to keep you guys in tune with the stat leaders as we progress through the NFL season. Now we are at our BS or bussin' segment for the day, where we bring the scope of the conversation outside of the typical football world. And if you're a real fan of the show, you know that we kick off our big games BS section with our BS or bussin' topic. We usually do food and food items, but today, James, we are doing food appliances. So, you know, people say when you're adulting, small things make you happy. So I wonder if this is one of the things that can make you happy. So Ninja, known for their blenders and such, have released a slushy machine. So we're gonna.
That's the one you can put the liquor in. It make like daiquiris and shit. I seen one of the dudes do that. You know what? That might save me money. Killer always wants a slushie after every football practice. I'd contemplate getting one of those. Like, but man, boy, Jada, you know what a couple of years ago, my washer and dryer went out, right? And it is one of the greatest. Like, bro, my wash it sings when it's done. Like it plays some songs, and it's so efficient. Like I just I just like it was so great. It was I just like those things make you happy. Like a good like you know, like a new set of tires. Like I'd be in that thing. I'd be one of the drive places that, well, with gas being kind of crazy, you gotta calm down with it. But when I get new tires, new shoes on the whip, it makes you just want to drive different places. Cause like your car feels different, man. But yeah, I might have to go, but you gotta be careful with Ninja, dog, because Ninja come up with like 25 variations of the same appliance. And next thing you know, you buy, like, you know how many of those bullets, those blenders I have? Like, they just were like, I'm glad they don't have infomercials like they used to, but I definitely have bought a couple of Ninja products that I liked.
So if you're looking to make your drinks slushies, you might want to have to take a look at that price tag, because if you want to buy it on Amazon, it's going to run you about $350 for that machine. So, but they have a lot of different features on there. This is no promo. Just wanted to let you guys know. So you can make a slush, spike slush, frappe, milkshake, or frozen juice with the 5 preset settings they have for you. But dope machine. So James is going to give that BS or bussin' topic a bussin'. So shout out to Ninja, man, because that definitely is a dope idea. And speaking of being happy, we're going to take a blast from the past and talk about a toy that a lot of kids should have grown up on that had a great legacy on many childhoods, and that is Legos. So the new Lego Back to the Future set of the DeLorean has been revealed, and it will cost you $27.99. So you can build the DeLorean from Back to the Future, man. Lego has released a set, 357 pieces, and man, this thing is fire, man. If you're a fan of Back to the Future, of Doc, of Marty McFly, of even the Air Mags, man, then you know how much the DeLorean means to pop culture. But man, this is a fire set, and it's only $28. I think it's a pretty good price for that. But man, kids don't know nothing about that in this generation, man. So
I think I'm going to get into building those sets. Like my baby boy was into it a couple of years ago, made me do a Spider-Man one with him. I believe it was Father's Day 2 years ago. He forced me to do that, man. So I'm like, how you gonna force me to do something? Like, how you gonna force me to spend time with you on my day? But it was cool. But like, I almost bought a pair of Air Mags a couple of years ago. I like that. I don't remember Back to the Future. I remember watching it when I was a kid, but I do like some of those things. But I'm gonna find like different things that I can kind of create during my quiet time And if I can sit on my porch and smoke a cigar while I'm doing that kind of stuff, the problem is I think you got to lay on the floor. How you just gonna come in my camera?
Hey,
Come
yo.
on over here. Just come on over here and say something to people now that they didn't seen you. So, what's your thoughts on Florida State?
Alabama, like that game was a fluke game. We trash.
We trash.
Yes.
All right. You still want to go there?
I mean, yes, but like our quarterback can't. He's been just throwing up straight prayer balls the whole season. I'm not gonna lie, but thankfully he has Deuce Robinson, who's like 6'5", towering over all the DBs we go against.
What's your thoughts about Mandarin season so far?
Oh yeah, we're good. And I think we gonna make it far. I don't know if we gonna win the state championship, but so far so good. Yeah.
Who's your favorite player at Mandarin?
Probably Izzy.
You like Izzy? Oh, well, Izzy gives you the chain. So, all right, I get it. I ain't mad at that. Izzy's our linebacker. He's pretty good. Who's the best player on Mandarin's team in your opinion?
I can't. It's Bryson.
Is Bryson? Okay, fair enough. What about the Jags? What's your thoughts on the Jags?
Oh yeah, we're gonna make it far. This
Whoa, hold up! You said what? Yeah. We're with the Jags?
Yeah, we're actually good this season.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Wow, that's what happens when you win. You get groupie fans when you win. He said weird. I thought he was a little chief, but nah. All right, my bad. Just popped in. Might as well throw him on camera. Y'all gotta tell him. Y'all gotta bullying works. Y'all gotta bully him to give his little trade take because he stopped doing it because the boys ain't winning. But I told him you got to be consistent regardless.
So to close out the show, we're gonna end it on somewhat of a sad note. We have 2 RIPs to discuss. So for any of my popular culture fans out there in that movie world, you may not know who this person is, but his impact was huge on the culture, and that is Drew Struzan. So he designed many of the iconic movie posters of the 80s. So he designed Back to the Future, but he's most notably associated with the Star Wars franchise. So he made the 6 original Star Wars movies posters, and he also did Harry Potter, Shawshank Redemption, E.T. So his imprint on the culture is insane. Just take a look at the 6 movie posters he created. So definitely one of the pioneers in the movie pop culture space and with his design. So huge RIP to Mr. Drew Struzan on his artwork and just his impact on the culture. But for many of my music fans out there, any of my R&B fans out there, yesterday was a very sad day, very sad day full of sorrow because D'Angelo had passed away. He had been dealing with a secret battle of cancer. I think it was pancreatic cancer, if I'm not mistaken, some form of cancer he was dealing with, and ultimately lost that battle yesterday. Angie Stone, they shared a kid together, had previously passed this year as well. I know the kid released a statement saying that both of his parents wanted him to stay strong always. So he's trying his best, his hardest to stay strong. But losing 2 parents in the same year cannot be easy for anybody. So just giving a huge RIP to D'Angelo. Had 3 great albums, man. Brown Sugar, Voodoo, Black Messiah had one of the most noticeable, distinct voices, pens, composing, just minds, and definitely a avant-garde genius in that music world, and he's inspired so many people. He got his flowers from the older generation. Prince was his idol. Prince was his man too, so they were hand in hand. So he was definitely a legend in this game. Even though he only had 3 albums, his work is way more than 3 albums worth in his reach and influence. So James, do you remember the first time you heard D'Angelo?
Oh yeah, Brown Sugar, corner store, Swanee Swifty. We used to I could either catch the bus right over in Rockbrook, or we could walk up to the Swanee Swifty, And I forgot his name. Big Red was his name. Bus driver, big light skinned dude. He would come like stop there. We could hop the Big Red bus, and he would like always had the cool stuff or whatever. But we would go to the Swifty store. They used to sell the cassette tapes for $1, the singles. And so you had the main single and you had the B side on the other side. And so we would steal them. But I got remember that was one of the first things. I stole the Brown Sugar, Groove Theory, and then One More Chance was another one. And then we would go, then when Circuit City finally opened up, Circuit City would have the $9.99 CDs. And you can go buy those on, I think it was Tuesdays. We can go up there $9.99. You can go cop those. But it was like Brown Sugar, Cruising, Shit Damn Motherfucker. It's a bunch of them, but one of my favorite songs is by him and Raphael Sadiq. You Should Be Here. They made those songs, those neo soul songs were like I think we're gonna come and have this new era is gonna reset everything, right? So we got to a point where people have gotten too much. Like you got to pay my bills, pay my this, pay my that, $500 first dates. That's why the R&B music sucks now. R&B music got to come from pain, right? It got to come from the church. It got to come from there's like a hurt, a heartbreak, or just a struggle. All I got is love. I ain't got no money for you, baby. All I have is bread. Like you got guys singing like they was like in apartments. They made poor. New York, Northeastern poor was so fly that they made movies about it. Like everybody rich now, but nobody struggles. And you can hear the struggle and the pain in D'Angelo's voice. And, it's like, let me tell you, and then it was a story. Let me tell you about this girl. Maybe I shouldn't. I met her in Philly and her name was Brown Sugar. See, we be making love constantly. That's why my eyes are the shade, blood burgundy. The way we be kissing is unlike any other way that I be kissing when I'm kissing, which is reminiscent. Brown Sugar, like it's just like you were sitting there and you feel like you in a smoky bar. Now, no hookah bar, in a smoky bar, people playing pool. It's a vibe. And like he made those things. And then he also made it sexy. The How Does It Feel video. Like you saw Jamie Foxx spoof it, but like everybody was like, yo, like every woman wanted a dude. I think I did it. I pretended like I was singing with my shirt off and some shorts. But like he was Devil's Pie, the lead single off of the movie Belly. It's a good overall. Like I said, it was a genuine voice that was missing. He was like a lot of us. Angie Stone was a lot older than him. Again, we don't want to talk about. I'm not bashing Angie. I think she was dope. I think if we had more transparent conversations about youth and sexuality, we wouldn't have as many disparaging thoughts about some of the stuff, or it could actually make the conversation more positive to where we can get the change that we want. But she definitely took advantage of a young boy. Probably put that, again, cute, chunky, dark-skinned lady, probably put that woo-wow on him, and he didn't know how to handle it. We all been there before. But, it's sad to hear that. And I'm really more sad about his son because he lost 2 parents in a year because Angie Stone was taken away from us tragically as well. So, and it just kind of is one of those things, but he was definitely very, very good, very instrumental. 95, 96 was a great year for a lot of new artists that came out. There were vibes definitely everywhere.
That's all I got for today. For today's show, James, for all the viewers out there, do you have any last words as we conclude Wednesday's episode of Big Games BS?
Yeah, man, check me out on Mark Rogers today if you want actual FSU content. With me and George will be on there. I believe it's at 6 p.m. today. We're going to be vibing, chopping it up for about an hour. It'll probably be on this channel as well as Mark Rogers' channel. Keep the main thing is entertaining. This too shall pass. You got to go through some rough spells or whatever. if you're thinking about my family or whatever, just keep us in your thoughts and your prayers as we go through this final celebration of the person who's primarily responsible for the way I produce content, or who I am, and my grandmother. I don't come to New Jersey anywhere as often as I did when I was a youth, but it just definitely has been surreal being up here and just moving around. I haven't really seen much of my family yet, but it'll be a quick trip, and I don't know, but I definitely want to make sure I bring my boys by where my grandmother lived and all of that stuff like that, man. So it'll be definitely be tough. But outside of that, we'll have a show on Friday. I will try to see if I can get the legend Joe Bullard on. If I could do that, that would be so great. I'll be recording that on the road as well, though, because I'll be in Miami and watching Carson Beck hopefully do well, since he's already destroyed my season. I hope his season goes well. Not Miami, just his season. But outside of that, man, appreciate everybody for chopping it up with me. We will see you guys next time.